Welcome back to the FarmCast presented by 21st Century Equipment. I'm Mike Wemoff, the Vice President of Precision Ag, and I got with me Hayden Fox, one of our product specialists, and Troy Randall, one of our Precision Ag managers. So thanks for joining me again, guys. We did a FarmCast with the S7 700. We're in front of our S7 800. So what about the in-cab experience? We got two really nice displays in there. I guess from your guys' perspective or the customer's perspective, what was monitored on those displays, and did that change customer to customer?
Yeah, and I don't even think so. The displays were a big thing. We could look at a ton of information at once, and they're way more user-friendly in my opinion. But the other thing we noticed in cab with these combines, it seemed like they were way quieter than like a 780. I mean, you could literally hardly hear them run.
They're probably almost too quiet.
They're almost, yeah. When you lugged one down, you didn't know that you lugged one down.
You could definitely hear them get growly and get loaded up, but that was about it. Other than that, you pretty much didn't hear much what's going on behind you. So,
and then Deere has talked about, they redesigned the engine on these newer combines and some emissions things, and that's definitely noticeable. They talk about a different torque curve with these combines. In situations where you would probably lug and plug a combine in the past, this combine just dug itself out of a hole and kept running. So I was pretty impressed with that, and I think probably our growers.
Yeah, so the newer engine, you get a little more horsepower with that. And the nice thing, we pretty much lost some of the after treatment blower systems. So they say you gained about 15 horsepower there. We went from a hydraulic to a mechanical spreader system on the back, so we gained about another 15 horse there. So those small things we lost. Went to some more belt design versus hydraulic design things along the side of it, and running features up front, so we gained a little more power there. So luckily we're kind of gaining power on the motor side, plus reducing some load on the mechanical side too. So this helps us get a little more power throughout the whole machine. So
what else did we see in the cab? I mean, Derek and I talked about your kids being in there and could take a nap. It sounds like it's quiet enough. But what else did we see in the cab?
Everyone seemed to love the cab. That was probably the biggest selling feature all the customers that ran it thus far, and probably will run it this fall too. But it's it's pretty much right off the X9. It's that same cab, nice and quiet. That's got the one big thing is the electronic door latch, so that takes a little bit getting used to, because you don't have to sit there and slam the door anymore. You can just kind of let it. You have to get used to just closing it and let it close itself. So that was kind of one challenge for some guys, but it didn't take too long. And then the ladder is a little bit different too on the side over there, so that takes a little bit getting used to. We need to remember you have to pull the ladder up too, like the X9. So we need to make sure we need to pull it up every time. Luckily we're in flat fields, so it wasn't as bad. But if we get in hilly fields especially when corn harvest, we get it out into pivot tracks, we probably want to make sure we get that up, because if not, we're going to be
pounding the ladder.
We might owe Deere, or we might owe a new ladder to someone, to ourselves. So
I was going to bring up the door. It's nice you don't have to slam that door shut. I know we've heard from a lot of customers in the past that pay good money for these machines. Why do we have to slam the door? No longer do you have to slam the door.
So
good.
And one nice thing with the displays, I've kind of noticed with these too, since a big thing with these, they have pretty much the whole, they've totally redone what they call electrical architecture. So to kind of introduced a lot of the new features they have now, plus down the road what they're coming out with too. So they've redesigned pretty much it's the exact same electrical architecture as an X9 combine. So one nice thing is it allows for digital cameras, which if you've never seen a digital camera, they're like night and day difference between an old analog camera and our older stuff. So that was another big selling feature guys like, because if you have the ultimate visibility, pretty much you have a camera out on the auger, you have your backup camera, you have your grain camera and the grain tank camera in the tank too. So those are really much nicer than they have been. You can actually adjust just like on our pickups now, on all our vehicles, you can actually kind of adjust the, I guess you want to call it the pan of the camera, so you can get like a real fisheye view. We can kind of zoom it in, and that you can pretty much do that on all the different cameras, so you can get a better view of what's going on around you, so that's very nice. But the nice thing is, too, with those digital cameras, I know something we use a lot of is remote display access, so I know some of our larger customers use that a lot, too. So the cool thing with the digital cameras, you can actually see that digital camera signal on remote display access, which is kind of cool, because then so when it comes to harvesting's automation, the cameras on our clean grain elevator and our return elevator, you can actually see that camera live from RDA. So you can pretty much be, that was the coolest thing when I was pretty much running around doing other stuff, trying to help out this machine. You could pretty much dial into it. You could see as long as they had the right page brought up with all the different harvest settings, automations, information. You could pretty much see, that real-time histogram. You could see, the speed of the machine, what it was changing. You could pretty much, almost like you were sitting in the cab of the combine, you can pretty much see all those different attributes being changed, and you can pretty much see it in real time too. Also the front-facing cameras, and then also that combine advisor yield or grain quality camera too, to see actually pretty much what they're seeing. So it's almost like you're pretty much running the combine autonomously from anywhere in the world. So
And that's where we're headed, right? Is automating one more task that the operator in the cab of the machine doesn't have to do, and being able to support the machine running remotely, which just more and more capabilities to do that. So
once as we started running these, and as we get more demos out this fall, we'll see, customers will probably see how that's going to move towards that direction, especially with the predictive ground speed automation, things like that. The machine's pretty much doing everything autonomously by itself. And then we throw in things like, turn automation where the machine can turn around by itself, machine sync, that pretty much all brings it full circle to you pretty much just let the machine do its thing, and you pretty much sit back and watch everything, just make sure everything's doing what it should be doing. So,
What about the front-facing cameras? We've talked a lot about those in past podcasts, and really excited to have those capabilities on these combines. But what did we see with those? What have we learned from our demos with those front-facing cameras?
Yeah, it was pretty neat to see those front-facing cameras as we were running. I'd hate to wish down crop on anybody, but it would have been neat to see a little bit of down crop, because those cameras will actually, pick up the down weed or whatever it is and adjust the ground speed of the combine based on that down crop. So it was really neat watching those cameras. You can watch them in real time between the greens and the reds, picking up different crop heights as we're running through the field. It was pretty impressive. I was impressed with how well it worked. We ran it in some dust and things like that. And really had zero issues with the cameras at all. I was fairly impressed from what I thought they would work like.
So they pretty much analyze anything from a standing crop to down crop to stubble to lodged crop to anywhere in between. So, but luckily, like Hayden said, we didn't run into that. Luckily, so it was pretty much green across the whole board. It was
good news, bad news.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was good to have them, but good that they didn't have to do their thing. So, but there's, like I said, you can adjust the settings in this to your heart's desire. So you can actually go in there, you can turn it on. If it sees so much down crop, the machine will start to slow down to compensate for that based off X percent. So you can turn that on, turn it off. So I think we had it on in this case, but like I said, we never had any down crop, so it wasn't. They were kind of just there doing its thing, analyzing what was in front of it too. So
do you think that'll be more effective in corn as we get?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see because usually corn, it'll detect kind of lodged crop and things like that. So we'll be curious, and hopefully, a couple of years ago we had that really bad windstorm, so we had lots of down corn too. So like I said, we don't wish that upon anyone because that was not fun that year either. So but I'll be curious to see if we get in those different scenarios how it's going to react to seeing different things too. So it'll be just kind of cool to see. So but one thing we did learn with our shellborn is it's, of course, because shellborn's just taking the head off the stem and leaving the stem, so it did have kind of a little. It was pretty much still picking up that standing stubble as still standing crop, which because it technically is. So, but really in our case, that wasn't really a big impact because the whole field was standing. So, I think if it was down crop, it would do a better job. If down crop is down crop, so it would have saw that regardless. But luckily, how we were running it, it didn't really have an impact on it because it still saw a standing crop. So it was still full steam ahead. Looking at that and then looking at everything else. The machine was telling it to adjust settings and do its automation. So
good. The 800 or the 700? Any differences between those two that we saw as far as feedback from customers? Nothing
crazy yet. Like I said, we ran the 700 more than we have the 800. So like I said, we'll be running the 800 here shortly, hopefully later this week, and see how it does on a big draper head. So we'll kind of be curious to see how that goes too. So, but as of right now, it's still, the guts of the machine are still the same from a 700 to an 800. 7 and 80 series we've had in the past. So that insides, those haven't really changed a whole lot. So not when it comes to the machine itself, the guts of it, those haven't changed a whole lot. It's more just kind of the technology inside of it, what's running everything. The aesthetics, the cab, the comfort, creature comforts, that's kind of the biggest things. But we might see some differences because, like I said, we got a little more power now with a different motor and kind of more power throughout the system. So that might change a little bit here this fall too. So I'll be curious to see kind of what we see, where we see it. So just a lot more material going through the machine in the fall. So what about the Cross-Auger Shutoff and the adjustable spout? What have we seen there? Yeah, so that's been another feature everyone has loved quite a bit too. So pretty much, with all the new S7, which started out in X9 combines, and now is going to be a factory installed option for all our S7 combines. We will get that from the factory. It's even a precision upgrade kit for S700 combines right now too. We can order and put on those machines. So what it pretty much integrates, Cross-Auger Shutoff, so it's going to turn turn our auger on, 3 seconds before, and then turn off the grain tank before we turn it off as well. So we don't have that auger full of grain all the time. So it's a lot better. Pretty much everyone we've explained that to really likes that feature because, especially when you get out in rough fields, we're not pretty much carrying that grain and the auger all the time. So this makes things a lot easier too. The biggest thing we notice is a little bit different to get used to because you pretty much hit the button, turn off. It's not an instant off like it has been in the past. So that took everyone a little bit of time to get used to because it pretty much you hit the button, it's going to turn off the grain tank, it's going to run the auger for 3 seconds, and then kind of vice versa when you start the machine too, it's going to run the auger for 3 seconds, then turn on the grain tank. So that takes a little bit getting used to, but by quickly double tapping the button twice, that kills it right away in case you have an emergency or just kind of come up to something you have to shut off right away too. So.
You didn't spill any, did you, Troy?
No, I don't think so. Well, I didn't run it. So plus, it's always a grain cart operator's fault too. So.
Yeah, always. Even with machine sync.
Yeah. So in addition to the Cross-Auger Shutoff, the adjustable spout, that's been a real awesome feature too because that's something everyone really likes because that's always been kind of an issue because it seemed like the spout was never in the right spot given our header size or auger size where the grain cart is. So especially in corn, it'll be nice to have the grain cart position right in between the rows, use a machine sync, put it right there, and then we can adjust that spout in and out a lot easier to fully fill the grain tank up versus having to swing the auger back and forth, nudge the grain cart in and out, things like that. So it's just one more nice feature. And then plus it's kind of nice because it goes up into its storage positions. Exactly when you turn the auger off, it goes up pointing all the way out, so you kind of know it's done, and you can swing the auger back in too. And then it's got its different positions. Like right now, it's in its transport position too, but it goes from that all the way out too. So just anywhere in between, you can kind of run it. So which is a very, very nice feature. And of course, that's a precision upgrade we can put on pretty much all S700s, and it's all factory integrated. There's some other options out there too from some third-party companies, but you have to add switches and wires and stuff in the cab. So that sounds like zero fun to me and anyone else. So but yeah, this all integrates into everything in the cab, integrates into the hydro handle. You can program it onto the hydro handle, one of the configurable buttons on there to run it from right there. So you can do everything else. So it's very, very nice creature comfort that that's always kind of overlooked, but is very nice when you get out and run it in the field. So
and as Troy mentioned, we have those available, those precision upgrade kits available today for all series of combines. So let us know if you're interested in that, and we can get you that even before the model year 25 combine is available. Well, thank you guys for joining us here at the FarmCast, and I thank you for watching. Really look forward to continued successful demos with this machine, with our 700 machine, and really see how this finishes up in wheat, how that looks in corn in the fall, and really looking forward to seeing how we can get customers engaged with this machine in 2025. So if you're interested in a demo with this machine, please reach out to us here at 21st Century Equipment and be happy to help get you a demo and really see the capabilities of this machine and the technology on this machine. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next time on the FarmCast.